I grew up near in northern Victoria, kind of up around the Murray River. My younger years was kind of dairy farming country town called Lockington. Um, what were the? I think the first CDs. There was a place in Echuca, which was our nearest bigger town, called Clint's Crazy Bargains, and they had a great CD. They had a great CD section. You never know what you're going to get. $5, and they got some Little Richards and Fats Domino CDs. Very excitedly. I have to, actually, I won't admit that on camera. I won't admit the first CD I actually bought with my own pocket money. It was the Aqua album, but I definitely didn't. Maybe it did have a subconscious influence on what I'm doing today. But post those first kind of CD purchases, then it went on to discovering my parents' record collection. I think maybe the record player was out of action at the time, but there was a whole cassette collection as well, which was all, blank cassettes that they're all like track listings with a typewriter. So in the 70s when his mates had got new albums and they'd just come out, he'd dub them onto tape and then get the typewriter out and put the track listings in. And that was my discovery of Led Zeppelin, through these little typewriter. So that's probably where the riffage began, into Black Sabbath and then into some more modern, heavier stuff. I guess there was a bunch of Bob Dylan stuff in their record collection as well. And then 70s Australian staples like Daddy Cool and Skyhooks. That's probably the early years of. I just followed. It sounds cliche, but just followed my gut and my heart. Music started really early, not by any particular influence. I walked into this back shed in a little town called Lockington where we were living at the time. And the piano had been sitting back there for years. It still smelled like cat piss from the house that it was rescued from years prior, that had lots of cats in it. And we called it cat piss piano. And I just started to tinkle on that, and I'd come home from school and run straight to the shed with my school bag and just had a real urge to play. So, and then from the start, but my parents were always, they just fueled the fire, and that's definitely helped. I couldn't imagine not having, parents who are supportive of a passion. So I'm very lucky in that regard. Got some piano lessons off some old strict teachers. I reckon I just missed the era of like getting slapped on the. I'm a bit too young to be slapped on the fingers with the ruler, but I don't think as teachers definitely would have done that with earlier students. I reckon I just missed out on it. But so that's where it all started, the cat piss piano. But then, of course, as generally happens, you're drawn to other music, and teenage years are a very exciting time of being hungry to discover music, and you're discovering things that are decades old. A lot of the time through your parents' collection, it blows your mind. You've never heard of it. So then I was drawn to rock music. So stepped away. I always regretted it, but I stopped the strict piano lessons and picked up the guitar. I wish I had stuck with the piano as well as the guitar throughout. And so began a journey of rock and heavy riffage, and after becoming an adult, quite a few years of playing heavy guitar riffs and guitar solos and a lot of wild live on stage antics in earlier bands before I was always dreaming of this current project. It was always going to happen, and I used to kick myself for not having started it because I knew in my heart that I needed to be doing it. And I used to beat myself up, going, why haven't you started this? Why haven't you started this? But from over a decade ago, I had friends picked out who I knew were going to be in the band. I hadn't told them about it, but I'd been forming the band in my head for over a decade. And in hindsight, it happened at the right time because I wouldn't have had the life experience and stories to fuel the writing of songs. It depends on the size of the stage and the location of the show. But on average, like if we have to do a strip back show, maybe because we're flying into state or something, 8. I can't really strip it back below 8. This weekend at this amazing festival, it's a 12-piece band each night, but it has been up to, on special occasions, it has been up to 16. So for years I played in a 3-piece rock band, and it was very busy musically because I was trying to fit so many musical ideas into just 3 instruments, and often trying to play multiple parts on one electric guitar and all those different parts in my head. So when I started the dream band, I wanted it to be no holds barred, being able to have the full palette of paints and do full arrangements, and John Farnham size stadium band from the 80s with the backing vocalists. And I was talking earlier about having friends picked out from years ago, and one of my best mates, Michael Vincent Stowers, who sings BVs, is at every single show. He was one of those friends from that long ago, and he's an incredible singer. And my idea always was, I'm going to get credible vocalists who that's their thing, to do this wall of luscious backing vocals, and then I'll just tell stories over the top. I've never considered myself a singer, and I've only had a crack at it in recent years. So a wall of backing vocals, the full string section. On special occasions like this weekend, we've got the horn section. And it naturally formed from new friends and old friends. Some come together as chance meetings, as someone hitchhiking at a festival. It all just naturally come together, and now it's a big group of best mates. And it's hard to do strip back shows because no one wants to miss out on a hang together. And it's all first-hand stories, but at the time of writing each song, knowing that it's all common human themes, and it's probably going to be relatable to a lot of people because it's stuff that everybody goes through in life. And it's easy to sing about because it is, first-hand stuff, and you know that everyone can relate to it. And often it's easy to sing. I've probably become better in talking through emotions myself. Like I sing about struggling to talk through emotions, and that in turn has probably helped me. I've still got a long way to go, but expressing things through song has definitely helped, and in turn hopefully encourages others also to express anything gets things off their chest. I did a tour with I made a prop campfire that had cellophane flames, even boxed it up and flew it with me to New South Wales. And the concept was we'll sit around a fire together. And the tour was called Come and Have a Couple with Me. And so in that small, intimate setting, it's want it to feel like where we are sitting around campfire. It was the first time I played all these songs. They all debuted around fires to friends after each one was written. That was that just become the tradition of debuting a new song. So I want the live show to feel like that. But then even if it's a bigger stage and it is the 12 or 16 piece total fire band, I still want it to feel like that we're all in it together. The whole show is based off human connection with the audience. I could be playing to a massive crowd, but if I'm getting nothing back, or if I'm struggling, or if I was daunting playing here for the first time last night. Always on really high, big stages, I get a bit daunted because everyone is a bit further away. But as soon as you do have a connection with the audience and get them in, you're just in a lounge room together or around a fire together, and their emotion spurs on your emotion, and it just becomes a snowball of a shared feeling in a room. And that's what I want to go for, is we're just hanging out as friends and talking through things. I just get very excited at gigs, and I've been a huge gig attendee for years, and I yell at the top of my voice, and if I immerse myself too much, I'll get on stage later without a voice. And I've learned that the hard way at several festivals that I've been billed on, and I've just gotten right amongst it, got very excited, yelled my appreciation to all the acts, and then got to our turn on stage and hardly been able to sing. So I've gone in a few select times, but I'm also trying to have a few cuppers at the camp until after tonight, and then it's clock off, and then I can go and yell as much as I want after all the songs. I think I think it might be something along the lines of what I was describing, the feeling of live shows before, of a shared experience and it's telling stories, and it's shared stories, and I think a feeling of homeliness. And I don't know, you think folk music, and you think small front bars and bands playing jigs in corners, and people singing along to stories. So, and I think that feeling still translates here in a tent to 4,000 people. You're sitting together and you're sharing familiar stories. I think that's folk music.